All right, we're back. Finally, it's been a while. More gaming news. This is going to cover a few weeks. October 19th to like the first week of November or something like that. Yeah, like 3 weeks. Do everything up until the end of last week. And then we're going to cover this week on Friday. So we got it's a pretty long list. We're going to basically go through all the big stuff, see where we are with time. And if we have time, we can do a little bit more. But I might push the smaller news stories to the next news video / stream. Because there's a lot of big stuff. It's all mostly the same shit, different companies. And we'll do the dev dub as well for the last few weeks. Spoiler alert, it's Halo on PlayStation. But let's get started with this fucking torrential downpour of shitty news. First off, we've got layoffs at Rovio. MobileGamer.biz. 36 layoffs at Angry Birds maker Rovio amid restructure. This is Neil Long, MobileGamer.biz. Rovio is laying off 36 staff, restructuring its studios and making changes to its management structure. We can confirm. These are related to Angry Birds Dream Blast's recent underperformance and a continued effort to integrate into new parent company Sega, a Rovio spokesperson told us. Top of the layoffs, Rovio's puzzle studio in Finland will be focusing on fewer games. Let me move over here. Focusing on fewer games, while Rovio's Barcelona studio will be taking on more work on new and existing titles. We're told the layoffs include some senior staff on Angry Birds Dream Blast, but Rovio did not confirm those details. Industry chatter has also suggested that Rovio CEO Alexandra Pelletier Normand had relocated from Finland to London. Angry Birds maker said that there have been some changes to the company's management structure and that the Rovio CEO is spending more time at a different Rovio office and at Sega Europe HQ as it integrates into new parent company. No games have been canceled, but Angry Birds Dream Blast has unfortunately not been performing as expected. Don't worry, chat, we got more of this. We got more of this coming up. So, unfortunate. I'm not sure what games they had in the pipeline, but I doubt they're all coming out. Next up, the Remedy CEO has stepped down. Chris Cullen, VGC. Spoiler as well, a lot of these stories are going to be VGC. So Remedy CEO steps down 2 weeks after it issued a profit warning due to FBC Firebreak's weak sales. We did talk about this in the last news video. In a statement to investors, the company explained that Virtala and the board of directors had mutually agreed that Tero Virtala was stepped down from his position as the company's CEO with imminent effect. Virtala was appointed CEO in August 2016 and will now continue at the service of the company during a transition period where he will help with the handover of duties to the new CEO. Remedy co-founder Marcus Mackey has been appointed as interim CEO until a permanent replacement can be found and will step down from his role as chairman of the board as a result. I want to thank Tero Virtala for his substantial contribution to the management of Remedy since 2016. I personally thank Tero for good cooperation and wish him all the best in the future. He doesn't specify the exact reason why no longer with Remedy. The announcement does come just 12 days after the company issued a profit warning to shareholders due to weak sales. So, Firebreak, not doing good. The company was like, hey, we're not doing good. This isn't good. CEO steps down. Very convenient timing. Very convenient timing. Interesting. Very interesting. Next up, Ubisoft Red Links layoffs. Chris Cullen, VGC. All right. Trial Studio Ubisoft Red Links is laying off up to 60 staff as it refocuses on small screens. Ubisoft is preparing to lay off up to 60 staff at Red Links for restructuring. A statement posted on the website says that Ubisoft has announced a restructuring proposal for the Finland-based studio as part of the company's global efforts to simplify, reduce costs, and ensure a stronger prioritization and efficiency across the company's worldwide studio network. The statement also says that Ubisoft will negotiate the proposal with its staff in collective negotiations before making a decision. However, that if the proposal goes again, it will result in a reduction of a maximum 60 positions, mainly among the production and administration teams. The proposal would see Red Links changing its focus from a multi-format developer to one specialized in small screens, meaning mobile games, including 2 unannounced mobile games the studio is currently leading development on. Ubisoft said the shift in focus would let Red Lynx better optimize its resources and position itself for sustainable success. It reflects difficult choices we may need to make, and it comes after careful consideration. Recognize the weight of this announcement and want to acknowledge the impact the proposal may have on individuals and teams. Oh my god, it's just never ending. Founded in 2000, started as a small independent studio focused on mobile and browser games. Most popular, notably its popular Trial series, which was very popular on the 360 era. Next up, more layoffs. Not so much at a studio, but at a news company. The Gamer website suffers widespread editorial layoffs. Jordan Midler, VGC, on Wednesday, like last week or the week before, 2 weeks ago, several former members of the site's editorial team took to social media to announce that they'd been laid off. According to multiple former employees speaking anonymously to VGC, entire section teams have been decimated. According to those still at the outlet, the Gamer will continue in a slimmed down form, though those who remain aren't clear on how that will manifest. According to staff who spoke to VGC, these layoffs have been expected, but the scale has surprised those still at the site. VGC has reached out to Valnet for comment. The Gamer was founded in 2017. The parent company Valnet is also behind OpenCritic, GameRant, and as of earlier this year, Polygon. Features lead Jade King took to Twitter to confirm that her entire team had been let go as part of the reshuffle at the site. On Twitter, she posted, Valnet unfortunately let go the entire The Gamer features team today alongside several other staff members, many incredibly talented and hardworking writers I've had the pleasure of working with over the past several years. News editor Rihanna Bevan, who remains at the site at the time of writing, wrote on Blue Sky, The Gamer is losing so much talent today, it breaks my heart. On a personal and professional level, I cannot put the loss into words. Oh. These job losses are the latest in what has been a difficult period for games media. In May, popular outlet Polygon was sold to Valnet, which resulted in many staff, including the editor-in-chief Chris Plant, losing their jobs. Also in May, cult favorite video game outlet Giant Bomb faced significant staff departures as part of a dispute with its then-owner Fandom. Following this, the site's staff purchased the brand from Fandom and has preserved with a fan-supported model, just like VGC. Hell yeah. But unfortunate for the Gamer. I hope they find places to go within these other companies that are still going. There's a lot of these companies, and with how the entire industry is going, it's not looking great. It's really not looking great. All right, next up, more Ubisoft. Chris Scully, VGC. Ubisoft is asking staff at the Division studio Massive Entertainment to volunteer to be laid off. Huh? The Swedish developer, which is best known for the Tom Clancy's The Division series, but most recently worked on Star Wars Outlaws and Avatar, Frontiers of Pandora, is the latest Ubisoft studio to announce a change in structure. In a statement posted on its official Twitter account, Massive stated that it planned to strengthen its focus on the Division series and the Snowdrop engine, and that as a result, it was reducing its numbers. Studios asking staff to volunteer for career transition, presumably in an attempt to identify who's willing to be laid off before it has to potentially start its own layoff procedure. As part of our ongoing evolution and long-term planning, we have recently realigned our teams and resources to strengthen our roadmap, ensuring our continued focus on the Division franchise and the technologies, including Snowdrop and Ubisoft Connect, that power our games. To support this transition responsibly, we introduced a voluntary career transition program. A voluntary career transition program giving eligible team members the opportunity, they're being given an opportunity to take their next career step on their own terms, supported by a comprehensive package that includes financial and career assistance. Sounds great. Hey, guess what? You're fired. Doesn't this sound awesome? Massive Entertainment remains fully committed to our roadmap and to create great experiences for players around the world, including Division 2, Division 2 Survivors, Resurgence, Division 3. These projects continue with strength, focus, and ambition, and we look forward to sharing more in the future. Ubisoft is making a lot of moves here. And as we get further into news, you'll see where a lot of this stuff's headed, and why there might be an ulterior motive to all these layoffs, other than, hey, we're shitting the bed on all of our latest ideas. Starting with Craft On, which is the next story. Look at that convenient timing. It's almost as if it was slightly planned. very loosely, slightly planned. Andy Robinson, VGC. PUBG and Subnautica publisher Krafton says it's transforming into an AI first company. AI first company. Which I think I haven't looked into it lately, but when this like weird cat game was announced at that show and people were like, is this AI? This might be AI. I feel like this confirms that this weird cat game is definitely an AI game. In an announcement made to local press on Thursday, Krafton CEO Kim Chang-han said the company would reorganize its development operations to place AI at the center of problem solving. To make this happen, Krafton will invest approximately 100 billion I don't know what this KRW stands for. About $69 million to build a GPU cluster. That sounds bad for the environment. To support multi-stage tasks requiring sophisticated reasoning and iterative planning, and serve as the foundation for accelerating the implementation of agentic AI. Agentic? I don't know this word. I'm dumb. Krafton will invest another 21 million annually starting in 2026 to actively support its employees in directly utilizing and applying various AI tools to their work. The company will also restructure its HR system and organizational operations around AI. They said starting today, Krafton will automate work centered on AI and fully implement an AI-centered management system where members focus on creative activities and complex problem solving. We will leap forward as a company that promotes the growth of members and expands the organization's area of challenge through AI. Through our AI-first strategy, Krafton will expand the growth opportunities for each member, expand creative attempts centered on player experience, and lead AI innovation across the gaming industry. Would you be surprised if I said this isn't going to be the only story about this? Would you be surprised? I don't think so. Let's talk about EA, who is actively forcing their teams to use AI. Chris Culling, VGC. Business Insider spoke to a number of current AI staff speaking under anonymity, of course, who say the company's leadership has spent the past year urging its roughly 15,000 employees to use AI for a wide variety of tasks, from making code and concept art, to advising advising managers how to speak to staff about sensitive subjects like pay or promotions. Huh? According to the report, some staff say that AI tools they're encouraged to use produce flawed code that has to be manually corrected. Others on creative teams worry that because they're expected to train AI software by feeding it their own work, the demand for character artists and level designers will drastically fall. One former Respawn employee who worked in a senior QA role says he believes one of the reasons he was among 100 colleagues laid off in this past spring is because AI was reviewing and summarizing feedback from playtesters, a job he usually did. Guys, don't worry, AI's not going to take jobs. AI is going to make jobs. Business Insider also received internal documents that show that some EA employees are expected to complete AI training courses, use AI tools daily to speed up their work rate, and treat generative AI like a thought partner, asking it for advice on things on how to phrase questions when a promotion is denied. Huh? Huh? This is crazy. EA stated in May as part of its annual 10K Securities and Exchange Commission filing. While making more use of AI tools, it had to acknowledge the dangers of these tools being used incorrectly. They said in May, we are integrating artificial intelligence tools and technology into our business and development processes. The use of artificial intelligence might present social and ethical issues that, if not managed appropriately, may result in legal and reputational harm, cause consumers to lose confidence in our business and brands and negatively impact our financial and operating results. It seems as though they forgot that they said this. And there's a little quick tidbit here. According to this year's Game Developers Conference survey, a majority, 52% of developers reported working at companies that utilize generative AI tools. 52%, that's most that work at companies that use generative AI. The number of Steam games disclosed the use of generative AI has been increasing with around 20% of all games released this year. But it's also voluntary, so it's most likely higher. On Steam, you can voluntarily disclose it. And the voluntary number is 20% of all games on Steam. That's crazy. That's too much. That's too much. Moving on. Let's keep on this subject for a minute. If I don't do it with the keyboard over here, it just doesn't work for some reason. Chris calling VGC. Square Enix says it wants generative AI to be doing 70% of its QA and debugging by the end of 2027. Following the release of its latest financial results, the publisher this is also Square Enix, a company that hasn't had that many issues compared to other companies lately. Following its release of its latest financial results, the publisher posted a progress report on its medium-term business plan, which was originally announced last year under the name Square Enix Reboots and Awakens. As part of this plan, Square Enix says it has launched a partnership with the Matsuo Iwasawa Laboratory at the University of Tokyo, which is aimed at improving the efficiency of game development processes through AI technologies. The project, which is titled Joint Development of Game QA Automation Technology uses... Hold on. This is a long name. The project, which is titled Joint Development of Game QA Automation Technology using Generative AI, is being tackled by a joint research team of more than 10 members, including researchers from the University of Tokyo and engineers from the Square Enix group. The goal, according to the report, is to automate 70% of QA and debugging tasks in game development by the end of 2027. It says that by using automation technology, Square Enix will aim to improve the efficiency of QA operations and establish competitive advantage in game development. The topic of AI being used for QA roles specifically has been debated for some time now. While those in favor of it argue that QA testing can be repetitive and a boring job, others argue that humans are better at spotting and describing anomalies when testing game, which is facts. The other argument is that replacing humans with AI could result in the loss of numerous jobs, facts. Some see QA roles as a potential gateway into higher paid, more creative roles in the company. Exactly. The majority of the time, the entry-level position in the games industry is a QA role. That's where you start, for the most part. So if they take out the starting role, if they take out the base bottom role, how are you going to get more people? Unless it's just straight out, if you get lucky straight out of school. Or know somebody, obviously. This is crazy. And then also, to pile on, Square Enix has announced more layoffs with restructuring. Andy Robinson. So all of a sudden, even though Square Enix hasn't been releasing any flopping games, out of nowhere, look at this. In a video called Staff Outside of its home country of Japan, including those based in Europe and America, Square Enix President Takashi Kiryu said that the company was implementing overseas structural reform to create a more lean and agile business abroad. Square Enix will be implementing a fundamental restructuring of the overseas publishing organization. Details of the restructure will be shared at a later date. Staff were told, however, it confirms roles would be cut and employees left would be required to spend more time working in the office. This is, as is typical for company layoffs, no headcount figure were shared during the call. VGC was told. However, one person affected in Europe said that nearly 140 people were told they were at risk in the London office alone. Includes staff across IT, marketing, publishing, sales, QA, business planning, and more. So they just sneak in the QA there. I wonder if it has anything to do with this, with the AI. Just a coincidence, maybe. Maybe it's just a coincidence. Whew. And then what else do I have for you? What else can I lay on you? We'll go a little bit of an upper. We'll go up a little bit from here. Take-Two CEO doesn't think a Grand Theft Auto built with AI would be very good. Andy Robinson, VGC. Hey, let's go. We got a little W here. Little W. Speaking at CNBC's Technology Executive Council Summit on Tuesday, this was a week ago, or 2 weeks ago. The exec was asked about the impact AI had on game development and if there were any signs it could help improve the speed of production. Very poignant questions. Zelnick, whose company is also responsible for Borderlands, NBA 2K, and Bioshock, said that while he's not a naysayer, he believes AI's impact on production remains limited. One reason he said was because of intellectual property. A bigger hurdle, he added, was that AI is inherently backward looking because it's tied to large data sets of old information. Yeah, let's say there were no constraints on AI. Could we push a button tomorrow and create an equivalent to the Grand Theft Auto and the marketing plan, and here it is? The answer is no. You cannot do that yet. And B, A, you can't do that yet, and B, I'm of the view that you wouldn't end up with anything very good. You end up with something pretty derivative. Exactly. Whether people in Silicon Valley like to hear this or not, AI is big data sets with lots of compute attached to a large language model. So what are data sets by definition? They're backward looking. Anything that involves backward looking data compute and LLMs, AI is really good for. And that applies to lots of things that we do at Take-Two. Anything that isn't attached to that isn't going to be it's going to be really bad at. There is no creativity that can exist by definition in any AI model because it is data driven. Yes. Exactly. Take-Two aims to create franchises that are permanent with GTA. The team's creativity is extraordinary. What Rockstar Games tries to do so far has done over and over again is create something that approaches perfection. He's shitting on AI. As he should. As everyone should. These are all very good points. More CEOs should read this and change their brain. Just change your brain. Change your brain. Wow, that's like, out of all the stories, we got one like this. We got one. Going back down. Andy Robinson, VGC. Amazon making significant cuts to games business, moving away from MMOs. Bye-bye, New World. In a message to staff reviewed by Bloomberg, this came out a week or so ago as well. The company said that it would eliminate more than 14,000 corporate jobs, many of which affected game development and publishing businesses. Specifically, the San Diego and Irvine development studios, which are responsible for MMOs, New World, and the untitled Lord of the Rings game, have seen significant reductions, according to Steve Boom, Vice President of Audio, Twitch, and Games. There was an update, which we'll get to in a second. There was 2 updates. While we're proud of our successes in first-party AAA game development and publishing, we have made the difficult decision to halt a significant amount of our first-party AAA games development work, specifically around MMOs with Amazon Game Studios, making significant role reductions in our studios in Irvine and San Diego, as well as our central publishing team. Released New World in 2021. The layoffs come days after Amazon relaunched its Luna gaming service, which had been redesigned to appeal to a wider range of players. This includes the addition of Game Night, a new selection of party games designed for casual players. Amazon will continue to work on various game projects, including the next Tomb Raider with Crystal Dynamics and Maverick Games' open world driving game. First, follow-up update. Andy Robinson, VGC. New World is ending support. New World is officially ending development following huge Amazon layoffs. The game recently launched Season 10 and Night Haven update will serve as the final content release for the game on PC and consoles. It confirmed on Tuesday. This was basically the day after the other story came out. The game will remain online through next year, and it will provide a minimum of 6 months notice before making any changes that impact your ability to play. New World will remain available for purchase. Interesting. In addition to in-game currency, the game will also remain available to download for PlayStation Plus subscribers. The game's Night Haven release will be made available for free. All 4 years of steady content updates and a major new console release. We've reached a point where it is no longer sustainable to continue supporting the game with new content updates on the website. In the coming months, we will provide more details on what to expect and other essential information. Rest assured, our intention is to keep servers operating through 2026, allowing our community time to continue their adventures in Eternum. If you've got a character in this game, log in and start doing whatever you want before it's gone, because it's gonna be gone. And then update number 2, they canceled the Lord of the Rings game that they were working on. Great. Amazon's planned Lord of the Rings MMO game has been canceled as part of this week's significant layoffs across the company's claim. That's according to a LinkedIn post of an Amazon Games worker who lost their job this week, who suggested in a post spotted by RPS that the planned Tolkien game has also fallen under Amazon's axe. This morning, I was part of the layoffs at Amazon Games, alongside my incredibly talented peers on New World and our fledgling Lord of the Rings game. Y'all would have loved it. It's always tough to see such a strong team go through something like this. I've been lucky to work with some of the most skilled, creative, and kind developers I've ever met there. Amazon's latest plans for Lord of the Rings MMO were announced in 2023 as part of a partnership with Middle-earth rights owner Embracer. The game was described as a persistent, open-world MMO adventure spanning the events of The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. There is a Lord of the Rings online game. I don't know if those servers are still up there. It's a Lord of the Rings online game already. So yeah, Embracer has the rights to the games. I guess they leased them out because they were losing all that money and just like completely ruining most of the games industry. Amazon does have also obviously the TV rights, I think, for Lord of the Rings because they have the show. I wonder if anyone's gonna. I wonder if we're gonna get a good new Lord of the Rings game anytime soon. I doubt it. Yeah, they are super huge investments, and it's really dependent on a consistent player base. If you don't have a consistent player base, you're just fucked. You're just literally fucked. You need to have a good like store monetization system, especially with MMOs, to keep people interested in that game. I don't think New World had the juice. I did play New World for a while, for like a couple months. It was fine for what it was, but it didn't hold my attention very well. Next, we're definitely not going to get through the smaller news. It's just going to be big news. Next up, Andy Robinson, VGC. Multiverse's directors form new studio in response to complexity of AAA games. Hell yeah. We're going to go through these. We're just going to go through them in order that I added them. Airlock Games. Airlock Games is a self-funded developer founded by Multiverse's production director Justin Fisher and technical director Brock Feldman. So, hey, we got new studios coming out. No, it's the opposite of a closure. No closure, we have open. They rise from the ashes like the phoenix. An announcement, Airlock Games said its business model would leverage the pair's experience working on AAA games like Disney Infinity and Medal of Honor to make Medal of Honor is a name I haven't heard in a long time. As efficiently as possible in a deliberate response to the increasing complexity of developing AAA titles. Their first game, What the Stars Forgot, is a sim management horror game inspired by Star Trek and The Terror, featuring 16-bit graphics. You can also go on Steam Early Access this year and also a Kickstarter. This game did look pretty cool when I looked at it earlier. When I was doing prep. This looks pretty cool. 8-bit, like I said, 8-bit horror in space. Survive the spaceship. Stuff like that. We spent years working on high-profile AAA titles, but we missed the wonderful, reckless creativity of more focused games. It's a space where we can focus on providing new experiences that interest us both as players and developers. We're so excited to have the freedom to take creative risks, push boundaries, and tell stories that aren't feasible for AAA productions. Hell yeah. Online service for Multiverses closed down in May, and these two ex-Multiverses workers made Airlock Games. Heck yeah. Next, Chris calling VGC. Another new studio. After making layoffs earlier this year, Avalanche co-founders' new studio Liquid Swords teases its first game. This is really all they showed. Just like a real high resolution, high fidelity, like little mini video of this highway. Back in February, the studio announced that it was making a round of layoffs, with Sundberg saying the company was in a deeply regrettable position. 8 months later, however, Liquid Swords has now posted a brief 10-second clip showing a gritty city environment, suggesting the project is still making progress. Hope moved out. Violence pays the rent. Get comfortable. The accompanying cryptic message reads, along with the hashtag Game1. Although the video doesn't give much away, it does further cement the studio's previous claim that the game will be a hard-boiled take on the open-world crime genre, building off Sandberg's experience as co-founder of the studio behind the open-world Just Cause series. Liquid Sword lives on. The road ahead may be challenging, but our vision remains unchanged to create exceptional gaming experiences for players. We got another new studio. Is this gonna come out? Maybe. They didn't show a lot, so we'll see in the next few months if something actually happens. Next, another studio is not new, but it has risen from the ashes. Andy Robinson, VGC. NetEase's closed studio T-0 Entertainment is back from the dead. Look at that. Been acquired by staff. Hell yeah. In an announcement, a small group of staff said a small group of staff said they acquired the T-0 name and are relaunching as an independent production company inspired by the independent film world. The reimagined company will be led by the former production director Zachary Bodoin, I don't know, whose CV includes BioWare's Anthem. Original members Mark Tucker, Jeff Dobson, and Scott Stevens are also on board, but T-Minus's former studio head and founder Rich Vogel does not appear to be involved. So we got people from Fallout 76, Doom, Star Wars Old Republic, Dragon Age, Halo 4, hell yeah. There's also no mention in the announcement of the studio's third-person multiplayer action game, which was based on a public domain IP. Earlier this year, our journey with NetEase Games came to a close. Together, we accomplished something rare, a world-class team, a bold new IP, and a fully playable prototype that demonstrated both our creative and executional strength. Let's go. The staff members reacquired it. That's awesome. It's unbelievable that they were able to just get the same studio. NetEase wasn't like, no, you can't have this. Hell yeah. But also another NetEase studio shutting down at the same time. Andy Robinson, VGC. Fantastic Pixel Castle. Former World of Warcraft and League of Legends designer Greg Street announced on Monday that his studio, Fantastic Pixel Castle, will close this month, barring a last-minute rescue from any potential investors. Fantastic Pixel Castle was founded in 2023 to create a modernized fantasy MMORPG codenamed Ghost. Did it come out? No. Fantastic Pixel Castle will close its doors on November 17th. While there is still a chance we can secure funding after that date, it will depend on how much of the team remains. While we'd love to make our game our first priority is to help our developers find employment, whether that it's at an indie studio, Fantastic Pixel Castle 2.0, or at many other fine and hopefully stable game and tech companies out there. The news comes weeks after the studio had shared news that NetEase had ended its relationship with FPC and was helping it find a new publisher for its game. That's unfortunate. Hopefully this game does come out. It really sucks. I wonder if it would be cool if they could like merge with other studios that are just popping up. That'd be awesome to create like a big old AA company. But who knows? It's gonna be tough for sure. And another NetEase studio has closed. Look at that, another one. NetEase is batting 1,000 right now. This time it's Watch Dogs devs Bad Brain. A third NetEase studio in a matter of weeks has announced it's due to close its doors after its funding was allegedly pulled. Toronto-based Bad Brain Game Studio, a developer formed in 2023 by the former Ubisoft and Watch Dogs Legion developer, announced on Wednesday that it's due to shut down due to being able to find a new publisher. Apparently they have basically a game ready, and they just don't have a publisher. The studio posted a brief video of its in-development game Midnight Riders and called on any interested investors or publishers to reach out to potentially save the project. They thank NetEase for giving them the opportunity, stuff like that. The enthusiastic response our project has received is a direct reflection of that creativity and dedication. While the outcome may not be what we had hoped for, I've seen firsthand that we succeeded in reaching players and peers who believed in what we were building. To those who supported the game, shared encouragement, and championed our vision, thank you. We believe strongly in what created, and we would love to see this world find its way to players. And this trailer for this game is actually pretty sick. You guys have the link. It's super cool. You got the kids just out in the 80s or 90s, I don't remember. And they're riding bikes together. They're fighting demons. They're going to the video store. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Look at this. He's riding his bike. I like it a lot. I think it's a cool vibe. So hopefully this game does come out and maybe we play it. Next, one of the bigger stories, but also the least surprising, GTA 6 has been delayed. Chris Killing VGC. What a surprise. Who would have guessed? Everyone. Or everyone that pays attention. Hi everyone, Rockstar said in a statement on Twitter, Grand Theft Auto 6 will now release on Thursday, November 19th, 2026. We are sorry for adding additional time to what we realize has been a long wait, but these extra months will allow us to finish the game with the level of polish you've come to expect and deserve. We want to thank you again for your patience and support. While the wait is a little longer, we're incredibly excited for players to experience the sprawling state of Leonida and return to modern-day Vice City. With the most robust pipeline in our company's history, we expect to achieve record levels of net bookings in fiscal 2027, which established a new baseline for our business and set up a path on enhanced profitability. Hey, so they're excited about it. They're excited about it. So excited, in fact, that They've been firing people. Chris Scully, VGC. Rockstar claims it fired dozens of workers last week for leaking company secrets, not for trying to unionize. Huh. Last week, the Independent Workers Union of Great Britain claimed that Rockstar had fired over 30 staff across its offices in the UK and Canada. The union alleged last week that employees were fired because they were part of an IWGB Game Workers Union channel on Discord and were either members of the union or were attempting to organize a union at Rockstar. In a strongly worded statement, they called Rockstar's move a brazen act of illegal union busting, and with its president Alex Marshall accusing the company of a calculated attack on workers organizing for collective voice and to improve their difficult working conditions. Obviously, they denied it, saying the employees were fired for gross misconduct and no other reason, and didn't elaborate on it. They had no details. So, unfortunately, it sounds a little sus. Fortunately, it sounds a little sus that specifically the group of workers in this union Discord server chat were targeted. They also said last week we took action against a small number of individuals who were found to be distributing and discussing confidential information in a public forum, a violation of our company policies. This was in no way related to people's rights to join a union or engage in union activities. Sure. I mean, I feel like if you're talking about union stuff, you do need to talk about slightly confidential information. I bet they're like, hey, your pay is confidential. You can't talk about your pay, so you're fired. Insane. Following up also on the Rockstar news, YouTube is still, even though it's delayed, YouTube will still be changing its TOS to accommodate the assumed influx in violent videos against like non-combatants or whatever it is. This is Tyler Wilde, PC Gamer. YouTube's lengthy policy on violent content is getting a little longer, and GTA videos in particular may trigger enforcement of a new rule related to depictions of torture and mass violence. In addition to our existing guidelines around graphic gaming content, we will age restrict an additional small subset of video game content featuring realistic human characters that focuses on scenes of torture or scenes of mass violence against non-combatants. The video platform will make adjustments based on 3 criteria: the duration of the scene or scenes, whether or not the violence is the focus of the video, and whether or not the characters in the game are realistic humans. And it says, unless the Postal series sees a huge resurgence in popularity, GTA 5 and upcoming GTA 6 are most likely games to put the mass violence against non-combatants guideline to the test. Though from the sounds of it, only videos that make mass murder a particular focus will be hit with the age restriction under this rule. Clipping a virtual pedestrian with a car during a mission might be fine, but making a video about driving through crowds could be flagged. I would assume yes, it will be flagged. And they're also expanding its definition of gambling to include gambling, video game skins, and NFTs. It will be age-gated. So YouTube's still changing their things to go with that. And then another follow-up, which would be the last thing we talk about before the dev dub, Devolver Digital. Their response to GTA getting delayed. Despite another big delay, Devolver is still hell-bent on releasing a game on the same day as GTA 6. This is Sean Prescott, PC Gamer. Very, very funny. Very funny. I love this. GTA 6 delay news usually follows the same beats. The initial reaction is annoyance, and from some quarters, even dismay. Then comes the wave of contemplation regarding what the delay could mean for the industry as a whole, usually bad stuff. In our case, there's always a moment taken to mourn that every GTA 6 delay pushes its still unconfirmed PC release date out even further. Then, unusually towards the end, but sometimes right in the middle, Devolver Digital pipes up with its own delay. Since the announcement of GTA 6's initial release date, Devolver, the publisher of Cult of the Lamb, Baby Steps, and Bollock Spit, has been threatening to release a game on the same day as GTA 6. With every new delay, Devolver delays too. And they replied to the news, "You can't escape us. November 19th, 2026, it is then." They haven't said anything about the game itself, nor who's making it, but whatever it is, I'm sure barely anyone will notice except sickos like me who have been barricading for Baby Steps to win PC Gamer of the Year. PC Game of the Year 2025. I love this. I really hope that it's a fun game, and I'll probably play whatever this is when it comes out, the same day as GTA 6. If this ever comes out, because it's dependent on GTA 6 coming out. This is really funny. I like this a lot. This would be the dev dub, except there's a bigger one. There's a bigger one because this is really funny, but there's an even bigger one. But we're, like I said, we're gonna do the small news. I did sprinkle in some chat picks throughout the bigger news stuff that were related, and we'll do more chat picks and the rest of the smaller news later this week. For right now, we end on the dev dub, which is pretty big. Halo coming to PlayStation, but not only coming to PlayStation, a second remake / remaster, whatever it is. I don't know. It says remaster, but it looks more like a remake. Jordan Midler, VGC. Halo Campaign Evolved is a full remake of the campaign portion of the series' first game, Halo Combat Evolved. While no specific release date was announced, Microsoft has confirmed the game will launch next year. The game will feature 4-player co-op. Amazing. Completely rebuilt visuals, and the game has been redeveloped in Unreal 5. This fully rebuilt campaign will introduce remastered 4K visuals, beloved Halo weapons and vehicles, plus brand new story content. This is like a 40-minute, or no, like a 15-minute deep dive into it. They talk about the emotional impact, the getting into it, but big thing, coming to PlayStation. Crazy. Another big thing, they're adding story missions. I believe there's like a couple prequel or pre-campaign story missions that they're going to be adding that have Sergeant Johnson in it, which is awesome. There's also going to be new mechanics. New being that they've never been in Halo 1 before. I think you can sprint in Halo 1 now, which is great. There's new weapons that weren't in the game before. You can pick up the sword. You can pick up the fucking energy sword now in Halo 1, which is nuts. You can hijack vehicles. Also nuts. So they're modernizing, not only remaking it, but they're modernizing it, which is awesome. And if this works, we could watch some of this here. Because there was a playable portion of Silent Cartographer that people got to play. So this whole cutscene here definitely isn't in the first game or the first remaster. At all. They actually they show so much. It looks so good. I mean, it doesn't look great because it's on 720p or 480p, whatever it is. So they run through like 10 minutes of the level.
Floor of this facility.
A lot of. I think they redid all the VO with the cast. They reworked. They basically remade the game. Like it's a full remake, which is awesome. Super excited for this. I'm gonna play the shit out of it when this comes out. Microsoft, for all their shitty things that they've been doing lately, gets this dev dub for this, I would say, long overdue crossover to PlayStation, but also the full remake, because Halo really needed a W. And I think this is Halo's first W in a really long time. But that's gonna be it for this week. Mainly because of time. This is a really long recording, and we didn't even get through all of the news that we had to catch up on. But we'll get there. We'll catch up this week. Thank you, everyone, as usual, for hanging out for Casual Gaming News. We'll be back live in a few days. Back here on Friday to do this week's stuff plus what we missed previously. Check out the links in chat: YouTube, Twitter, Discord, TikTok. We're gonna move on to other things now for stream. But that's gonna be it for the video. Thank you all for hanging out. Make sure to like and comment and stuff. If you agree or disagree or see other news that you want to talk about, put them in the comments. Or if not, just watch the video. Or if not, just click it and don't look at it. That's gonna be for me for this week for gaming news.